Messing me up my whole head, teasing me just like Tisha did Martin. I'm on my JL, kiss my cheek, move, then you confuse things. Should I just sit out or come harder? We got another one in the time where things are going crazy in this world, but but we still here. It is your boy Willie B. I'm excited to be back with another little installment. Welcome. Thanks for taking a couple minutes to just check your boy out. That's all I need is a couple. Got the MTV digs on. Feeling musical, I'm feeling tropical. We got the Geto Boys. We're going down south. Texas hip hop. Not even just Houston. We talking straight up Texas. A lot of friends in Texas. So shout out to Texas, man. It's always been a thing of like, what does Texas hip hop sound like? When Dr. Dre brought out the DOC, because the DOC is from Texas. I feel like that was kind of creating that sound too. And I gotta do the DOC. I'll do him soon. So we're gonna go back to 1988. This is very early in the Geto Boys, and there's no. The group is made up of 4 members. So the original group of Geto Boys was Bushwick Bill, DJ Ready Red, Sir Jukebox, Prince Johnny C. I didn't know that. The Geto Boys I know of is Willie D and Scarface, but these guys weren't even involved on early on. The album we doing today is called Making Trouble, released under Rap Alive Records, which is J Prince. He's a pioneer in what he's doing. I put him in that same class as the Master P's and a lot of the self-made right out of the trunk people. They did distribution through Sony, which it's almost like you can't do nothing on your own in this industry. You have to go through a big wig at some point. Producers is Cliff Blodgett and Carl Stevenson, who I have no clue who these guys are, but thank you for arranging what I'm gonna hear. I love Texas. Everything is big in Texas. The booties, your house, the food, like everything. It's not a myth. This is really what it is, and I love to go there because I'm from a very congested city. And when I go out there, I could just breathe out that motherfucker, man. I'd be like, ooh, I can see, I feel good. Houston, I never been. Every time I go to Texas, they're like, go to Houston. Houston's where it's at. This is where you gotta be. So I've never been to Houston, but trust me, the next time I'm in Texas, I will be in Houston. 11 songs. I don't know how I'm gonna feel though, because there's no Scarface on this album. There's no Willie D. I've never heard any Geto Boys albums. I think literally the one song I know by the Geto Boys is My Mind Is Playing Tricks on Me, just because it's such an iconic song. So this is really gonna be a crash course for me. Without further ado, the name describes the background. It describes it well. There's so much trouble in our life. We got a story to tell. Just like the town. We did the trail. And we got so sick. They tried to catch us. Nothing happened. Off rip, definitely got the Run DMC cape. They are the godfathers of this shit. You can't come out and not feel like you gotta rip a little run. I guess all of us got some running. I've got Run DMC in me, even though I don't have that cadence. Somehow I got it in me. Interesting on this beat, they brought in rock elements, and we've heard on other albums that I've covered, artists try to bring in rock elements, but it sounds really smooth. It makes sense on this record. I really like this beat. It's not even a full rock beat, but it just have rock elements in it. That guitar, that electric guitar brings that element, and it actually feels pretty good. This is different. It seems like they're rapping on this beat like Run DMC would, but this is not a beat that Run DMC would necessarily be rapping on. It feels badass though. It make you feel like a badass. It's got that. The name of the song is Making Trouble, so once again they did it. They said the movie title in the movie. Yeah, they just seem like they walking down the street like, fucking knocking people's like belongings out of their hands, just like, yeah, like this my blog now. This is how this record feels. It's really all swag with like that. With Run DMC cadence rhymes. Dope beat though. Very dope beat. It's different too. I haven't heard a beat like this. I hate that snitch. I hate that snitch. Yo, Takashi should like listen to this song. I like this. I like this song already. It's got this little melodic at the right point. It's almost like it's got a bad and is this like bad and bougie before bad and bougie? It's got an elegant touch to it, but it's still hip hop as fuck. Nah, this record got class to it, man. This record here is taste. It's tastemaker shit. It's we all know nobody likes a snitch unless you're the snitch. It depends on your lifestyle. I feel like if you're doing dirt, that code is a little more like that. If you're a straight laced person and you live by the code, certain code, then if you get jammed up, snitching is part of it. So it's not for everybody. The street code sense for snitching is, oh, you trying to take away my livelihood. You gotta drag a motherfucker. It's a crab in a barrel mentality. So only streets know about that snitching shit. People who ain't lived in that crab in a barrel mentality, snitching, they like, I will snitch immediately. All I have in this world is 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 all I have in this world all I have in this world all I have in this world all I have in this. Yeah, this is it's called Balls in My Word with the Scarface sample. If you ever seen Scarface the movie, he said all I got is my balls in my word. He sampled that on here. He's theming this album right now with principles. It's like each record is a principle. Like we here to make trouble. We don't like snitches though. And my balls and my word is what I stand on. There's no lyrics on this from the boys. Um, it's all just Tony Montana vocals from the movie being mixed in. So this is a mix, and you know how I feel about mixes, but I'm good on mixes anyway. But you might like this mix. This mix is I've never heard one like this. Assassins. It's growing on me. I really like the second verse. You know what I mean? He finding his flow. Whoever this rapper is on there, I'm not sure which one of these guys it is because I'm not familiar with any of the rappers on this. Wild ass lyrics though. These niggas are talking some wild shit. This is gangster rap. I think the essence of gangster rap is like the most gutterous shit, like the most gutterous stories with motherfuckers just was being unapologetically them and doing whatever the fuck they had to do to get by, to make something happen, to get from here to there, to get them out of their way. Desperate people doing whatever the fuck they got to do to get by, and those are the most. That's a demonstration of gangster. Okay, now he's talking about like cutting a woman up and shit and cutting her to pieces. See, and I didn't know this is a history lesson for me. I didn't hear no crazy shit like this until Eminem. When Eminem came in the game, he was saying the most off the wall shit, and I thought he was the first. But no, 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 no. It's nothing new under the sun, people. Yeah, that's a wild ass story. That's a wild story. Assassin is a wild ass song. This feels like the message. I got to tell you something. Here's the story. Wise to the way of old glory. It's like that type shit. But he's speaking knowledge and he's just trying to lay a foundation. This feels inspired by the message. Grandmaster Flash and them boys. That song, the message, to this day, to this day, it's so poignant. It's relevant right now. You should go listen to the message. This got that up. It's more up tempo. It's getting close to the type of record I might like. It's getting close to it, but it's not quite there. It's this one of them records you got to give a second. You know, don't judge it too quickly. Kind of just keep everything reserved and take it in. But it's something about that beat. It's too much going on in it. It's got a little bop to it. Not really not really my taste too much, but I mean, it's like it's coming close, but it ain't quite hitting with that one. They bring in the Run DMC cadence, and I think that's kind of what turns me off from, because like I got the Run DMC thing. No Curfew is basically, you know, a little flex for the DJ. They feature the DJ kind of heavy on a few of these records, so I think it's DJ Ready Red. Yeah, this your show. Ooh, Twilight Zone sample. I love it. Shoot, Twilight Zone, that fucked me up. I didn't see Twilight Zone until I was grown, well and grown. And I saw Twilight Zone, I was like, ooh, y'all was hiding this from me. This that get you, gotcha. Yeah, I like this one. And this goes back to just kind of that element of hip hop. You can't even, you're not even thinking these niggas is from Houston now. You just like, oh, this is so hip hop. This nigga just wow, 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 wow. Oh no, we got one. This joint rocking. This joint rocking. This joint rocking. Yeah, it's got that live element. It's just like he had in the basement, and the big fat nigga in the back just. We will rock you. This is different. This is another time in this album where I feel like they took a chance that nobody has taken yet. This is 1988, and this is Houston, so they got that country shit kind of down, and they know how to weave that in a lot more smoother than up north motherfuckers who've been trying their rock shit. That's why this is sounding more. That's why their like country and rock and different influence sounds more like it makes sense. Not my cup of tea for real. I guess this is their crossover attempt. Ain't nothing but I don't even know who sing that song. I want to say Elvis, but it might not. I know Elvis covered a lot of nigga shit, so this is the first time I've ever heard this sampled in hip hop. I'm not gonna say it's cornballish, but it's trending in that direction. But it's creative. Yeah, the more I listen to it, this sounds like something that Pharrell actually would make today.
Oh, Bushwick Bill, you know what I'm saying? So I was rocking that jam. That's it. You came correct. Word around down your step. It was Jeff, right, Johnny? Yeah. He's on box, you know what I mean?
And then he ends it, kind of on this note of, our only problem is what we're gonna do with all the cash. Or celebratory with the cigar. So it's just a mix. There's no lyrics. Album concept and theme, it seemed like a journey through street principles, to be honest. There's a lot of themes that sticks out from street code and street life. And when you hear the music, man, it really translates into things that they're saying. It definitely translate to that they're about their business and they're handling theirs. I like it. It feels tough. It feels gritty. It feels like, these dudes know how to party, but at the same time, they real about theirs, and they're connected because they talking that shit and they popping that shit. So, you gotta listen to the whole project to get it, to get the whole thing, but it's there. It's there to be dissected. It does lay out kind of a rubric in it, a theme of the streets, and kind of a code, if you listen to it, of how to kind of survive, and how they get down, how they the rules that they live by. No, they look about their business, like they look like cool ass Muslims. It's just these four brothers in a room dressed up with the chains and shit. It's a little bit of Run DMC flavor in there, but they look like they on some other shit. You see these niggas in the room looking like they looking, you like, what y'all finna do? Where y'all finna go? Y'all are all in unison. Y'all are militant. Y'all got a purpose. Y'all motherfuckers got things to do. But it's pretty simple. I've seen better Look like some gangster shit. I think that's Bushwick Bill right there in the middle, making him look like Don. Bushwick Bill, just like, yeah, run that shit. Production was pretty good, you know, because they took, I feel like, the most chances on some things that I've ever heard. I've never heard some of the canvases on here. I had to really go back and listen, you know, like I heard early shades of things that is out now, and I'm like, ooh, I guess that's where they kind of got that from. And it's like they took some chances that wasn't always comfortable, but like kind of made sense if you let it ride, and if you listen to it again, I'm sure you'd really appreciate the production. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. You know what I mean? To kind of be like some self-made stuff, and it doesn't sound low budget. It sounds very much like, um, you know, competing records in 1988. Creativity, very creative for the reasons that I just said. Really, um, you know, the chances they took, and then they really did help lay a canvas for what is Houston hip hop music. You know, and you know, I don't think any other mainstream artists came out to the world other than them that was able to do it. Even though they do have the Run DMC cadences on pretty much everything that they're doing, but it's still you can find their uniqueness on the production side and the way they constructed this album, because Run DMC wouldn't have did it like this. As just a person wanting to hear records, it's a couple on here, definitely, that I would recommend you listening to. Snitches is one song, and you'll really like that. I compare that to like the old school Bad and Bougie is one time freestyle. You're gonna love that. That is my favorite record on this whole album. Impact to the game and the culture, I feel like it's pretty high, just because it's so early for such a region, and it's making a name for a whole place. So this was a very impactful album, I feel like, um, even if it wasn't as well received at that time. I feel like it definitely deserves kudos for just being the first. The lyrics, they weren't bad. There were no bad lyrics, but there were no great lyrics either. You know, they kind of played in the pocket. You heard a lot of, and the reason why I said that, you hear a lot of Run DMC in their stuff, so they weren't really changing it up, but they got some moments on there where they spitting some really real shit. It was good. It was good. Wasn't great, wasn't bad. Good. It was basic. It felt very basic to me, but it was good. You know, and that's why I can't say like, but they were saying some deep shit in there. You know, it was a couple songs in there where, you know, they really got deep, and then it was some songs where they got super raunchy and it was articulate. It was dope. Results are in. This album scored a 49, and on the scale, that's a good album. Which this is the first good album on that I've ever covered. It's the first one. You know, I've had all Gotta Grow on You albums, had one classic, and this is the first good album. And I think that is very fitting. Now, it just reached like 1 point less. It would have been an album that's Gotta Grow on You, but I think it's unique to point out that this was a good album. The only member that I know of from this one is Bushwick Bill, and I can't even tell exactly which one is him. So that tells you how much I listen to the Geto Boys. And I'm sure when this came out, motherfuckers in Houston was going, H-Town was going up on some of these joints, because I'm sure he put some of them in the clubs, because he definitely got records for that. Let's shout out to the Geto Boys, man. Shout out to Jay Prince, Rap A Lot Records, and shout out to Sony for moving this. Houston, man, give a big shout out to Houston. Y'all got my boy John Wall. I'm jealous, because he should have been still here. I want my wall back. Give me my wall back. I feel like Trump. Give me my goddamn wall back. Until the next one. Ade.